A fresh evening to one and all gathered here. We, the team of extramural lecturers, IIT Madras, welcome you to the lecture Peace and Nation Building. How can law enforcement shape resilient democracies? I humbly request the audience to keep their mobile phones in silent mode to avoid any disturbances. Today we have with us Mr. Sadanand Date, an esteemed Indian Police Service officer, the current Director General of the National Investigation Agency, and one of the heroes of 2611 attacks. Mr. Sadanand Date brings with him over 3 decades of distinguished service in law enforcement and national security. A decorated officer, he has held several key positions at both state and national levels, including serving as Deputy Inspector General of Police in the Central Bureau of Investigation and as Director General of the Anti Terrorism Squad of Maharashtra. He was awarded the President's Police Medal for Gallantry for his exemplary bravery during the 2008 Mumbai attacks, where his actions at Kama and Alvis Hospital saved countless lives. Beyond his professional achievements, Mr. Sadanand Date is an accomplished academic, holding a doctorate from Pune University and credentials as a qualified cost and management accountant. He has also been a Humphrey Fellow at the University of Minnesota, where he studied strategies to combat white collar and organized crime. His wealth of knowledge and experience offers unique insights into the evolving landscape of law enforcement, counterterrorism, and public safety in India. I now invite our Dean of Students, Professor Gumadi, and Vice Chairman, Council of Foreigners, Professor Sanyasi Raju, to present Mr. Sadanand Date with Angavastram. Sir, your experiences have been nothing short of extraordinary. From leading high stakes operations to navigating complex challenges, you've seen it all. I would like to invite our guest, Mr. Sadanand Date, to share some anecdotes from your journey with us. Moments that have shaped your career, lessons learned along the way, and perhaps stories that continue to inspire you.
So, good evening to all here. I am thrilled to be part of this community this evening. I have always heard about your great campus, but never had opportunity or good fortune to visit it. And I must say that this is one of the most beautiful campuses I have ever seen. Also, one has a lot of respect and awe for what IITians are, and I feel quite humbled in midst of all of you, and I also feel honored for this invitation. Without much ado, I would like to present some of my thoughts which are relevant for the theme that has been taken. And the theme is what is the role of law enforcement or police in both preservation of peace as well as nation building. Uh, I very strongly believe that if we compare ourselves with the cohort of nations that got freed in decade of 1940s and 50s, we have done quite well. That is not to say that we cannot do well ahead, or we have achieved pinnacle of success. Certainly not. But if we compare ourselves with countries in South Asia or many other countries in Africa, I think the most singular achievement that we have done is we have preserved a democracy, and therefore, essentially, we have a system where citizens don't really have controls that could be bothersome, which could block their development and growth. So, I think that is something which is unique that we have achieved. Also, in terms of physical prosperity, I very distinctly remember the year in which I started service, 1992, in underdeveloped parts of Maharashtra called Vidarbha and Eastern Vidarbha in particular, Gadchiroli and Bandara. One would see thatched roofs and mud walls of house, and I have seen practically every 8 to 10 years the nature of housing had changed. So thatched roofs first were replaced by tin roofs, then asbestos sheets, and now the parts of Maharashtra that I visit, almost everywhere I have gone, we have pretty decent houses, even in the rural areas. And this has happened in 35, 40 years time. If you see the life expectancy, if you see the literacy, if you see many other indicators, we are on a steady, if not very breathtaking speed with which we are growing as a nation. And institute like this actually has a tremendous role where this country goes from here onwards, because the real acceleration would come with our moving into middle income group of countries, where the savings and investments can drive the further growth. So I think we are, this cohort, the young students are, if they have another 3 to 4 decades of career in front of them, we would usher India into a prosperous country, where we would have removed the scourge of poverty from the face of this nation. That we are tantalizingly close to that achievement. And for 140 crore people, I think preserving democracy, this kind of transition would be quite unique. So with this broad how I look at the things, I would like to also mention here as to how do I look back as a professional. How should we look at the situation, and how should we look at the personal trajectory of career? I believe that as professionals, and some of you would be entrepreneurs, our boats really rise with the nation. So if we can see the connect between our success and success of our families, our society, our cities, our states, and our nation, then probably we would usher in growth that is sustainable, that will bring joy to all around, and therefore it would have a broad based growth, and that can really bring sustainability. When I look back at police, and some people might have this question as to what do police have to do with prosperity or growth or nation building. So I always feel the great simile for law enforcement or police is like pedal brakes of a car. Now, all of you who have driven car know that the car can go with high speed only when the driver is very sure of the brakes. And you would need brakes, you would need controls, you would need checks and balances when the road gets tough. So the acceleration probably comes from industry, but the brakes or the to ensure that you stay course comes from the regulation and law enforcement, and I think that's the role that law enforcement officers perform. Many people ask, and probably I will answer it at length. But why does one join public service, or why do we? Why, I mean, generally, why do people want to appear for UPSC? And when I look back, the question that I had in mind was: here is a service or profession which allows me to be me if I am ready to live in my salary, and if I'm ready to obey all the rules and code of conduct that governs all India services. If I take care of the rules, then I'm pretty autonomous in the charge that is given to me, and I start at a pretty big canvas as ASP. My first charge gave me supervision of 8 police stations and about 350 policemen. So that is something which was there, a position of importance. But what was also at the back of mind was, here is a service where I can make a change. I can introduce good things, and I can try to do things differently. So that was the strong pull. And has it been a journey of, how should I call it, comfort? Certainly not. There have been jolts, and as a police officer, one comes across mostly senior sides of society. One comes across serious crime, one comes across law and order, one comes across communal riots, one comes across insurgency, terrorism, so on and so forth. And I'm really grateful for the advice that I got very early in my career. One Mr. Jog was, he had retired by the time I joined service. and he had settled in Amravati, which was my district for my training. And in very first week, I got to meet Mrs. Suryakant Zo. He was a absolutely wonderful person, and I was young rookie, so I did not really know what director general means, and I thought that he's just like any other person, so I did not really understood the greatness of the man. He was as great in 1984 when Indira ji died and there were riots and mayhem in Delhi. He was called from Maharashtra cadre to become police commissioner in Delhi. So a very brave and very accomplished officer. He used to be like friend to me, and I took, and I mean, that is something that when you are young you are irreverent, so probably I was like that. I used to speak very freely with him. One of the advices that he has given me really has helped me, and I think for most of us who feel challenges on way are bound to be there, it is a great advice. He said that, Sadanand, please remember one thing: when bad thing happens in your jurisdiction, or when adversity visits you, or when there is a challenge in front of you, don't ask the question, why has it happened with me? In police, many funny things happen. Like if you get an unidentified dead body with marks of violence on border of your jurisdiction, let us say police station, then a intelligent officer will just pick the body and send it to the other police station and get free of the problem. He said, please don't look at challenges like that. He said, only when you deal with complex cases, only when you handle difficult law and order problems, only when you face life and death situations, you can become a better police officer. Can you become an ace investigator without investigating cases? Can you become confident of your skills of law enforcement without dealing with riotous mobs and using lathi charge? So he said that, please remember that things change. So today challenge will become opportunity tomorrow. Just hang around. I think that advice was a great advice, and it has stayed with me all through. I would give couple of experiences. As I said, it has not been a joyride at all. And especially the students, when they take their first job, I think there is a lot of disappointment, because when we go from academics to we go to from colleges, we go to National Police Academy or Lal Bahadur Shastri Academy, and then when we get to the harsh reality of field, what we see is something for which one is not prepared. So one such instance happened when I was ASP in Wardha. I used to probably work for 15, 16 hours a day, and I had taken it as a mission to conduct prohibition raids, because Wardha was a prohibition district. And as you know, in all prohibition districts, the liquor still sells because it's an economic activity and the black market margin increases. So a quarter of liquor which was selling which was selling for 22 rupees across where the liquor was not banned, would sell for 35 rupees when I took charge as ASP. And that premium went on jumping from 35 to 40, 45, 50, 55, and it just kept on increasing. But of course, liquor was still available because people were ready to pay premium. So in one of my surprise visits, I went to Wardha police station and I saw a boy of about 20, 21, 22 years old. He was inside the lockup, and his father was sitting on police station steps, inconsolably crying. So I went to him, I said, why are you crying? He said, sir, police have arrested my son, and actually he has to get bail, but they are asking bribe of 500 rupees, and I have sold my watch and I could get about 200 rupees, but I don't have rest of money, and therefore my son, I cannot release him on bail. So I asked him, will you give a complaint? He said, sir, of course I'll give a complaint if you can release my son. So I said, then you don't have to spend any money. So I took his statement. The person who had asked bribe, we conducted inquiry. I got him suspended. His son was released. So this man was very happy. He went away. In due course, this constable's suspension was processed. Department inquiry was ordered. And after about a month, the person who was conducting department inquiry called me. He said, sir, do you recollect this incident? I said, yes, of course I recollect. He said, sir, but the complainant is saying that he has no complaint. I said, how can that be? And he said, sir, the constable is saying that you actually have foisted a case on him, which is the wrong case. So I was shaken to the core. He said that, sir, the constable is saying that you have used abuses against this constable. I said, like, even in my dream, I can't abuse anyone because I have not learned that vocabulary. So he said, no, sir, I will take care, but I just thought of telling you that this has happened. So I was shaken and I wanted to meet this complainant. So I called for him. I still remember when he came to my office, I saw him sobbing second time. He was crying and inconsolably said, sir, मैं क्या करूँ ऐसा? I said, but tell me, how are you giving this statement that I don't have a complaint? He said, sir, when you met me first time, I was in problem. You helped me. My son got free. So my work was done. But from very next day onwards, this constable, his wife, his relatives started come visiting my home. He belongs to my caste. And everyone was telling me कि अब तुम्हारा लड़का तो छूट गया, अब इसको छोड़ दो, इसको क्यों आप साक्ष दोगे तो इसकी नौकरी चली जाएगी. In Marathi they say पोटावर मारू नका पाठीवर मारा. So don't hit his stomach, you can hit him on back. I mean don't take away his job. He said, sir, अब मेरा तो काम हो गया, तो अभी मैं उसका नुकसान क्यों करूं? वो मेरा जात वाला है करके मैंने मेरा स्टेटमेंट चेंज कर दिया. That is the social reality of caste and commitment to, I would say, integrity or honesty. So it is, if it helps, people are ready to do good choices. If it helps, they are quite ready to look otherwise. From this place, I got few transfers. Eventually, I got my own my district posting as SP. So I went as SP in Bhandara. And in Bhandara, my predecessor was replaced just after completing his 6 months. So he had kept recruitment of constables. In those days, SP was supposed to complete the whole recruitment process, including from giving advertisement till appointment letters. Everything was done to be done by SP. So the moment I landed, I was told that you have to do recruitment. Now, by this time, I had 5 posting orders. One was cancelled before I joined at that place, and 4 actual postings. I started getting calls that please recruit this person, वो मेरा जात वाला है, please recruit that person, he's from my religion, he's my voter, constituency, so on and so forth. So I thought I have to do my job in a transparent manner. So I was trying to keep all of such approaches at bay. And one day, while I was sitting in the office, I got a call from our guardian minister. So he said, SP साहब, आप तो रिक्रूटमेंट कर रहे हैं, सो आई एम सेंडिंग यू लिस्ट ऑफ पुअर ट्राइबल्स फ्रॉम माय डिस्ट्रिक्ट, सो प्लीज रिक्रूट देम एज कॉन्स्टेबल्स. So I said, sir, I think you are in guest house, so I'll come and meet you in guest house. Would you mind that? He said, no, please come. So the first thing I did, I called my wife. I said, probably this time for another transfer. I'm going for a difficult conversation, so please be ready for one more transfer. I went to the minister. So he had probably more number of years of experience in politics as MLA than my age. So I went and met him. I said, sir, I wanted to discuss. He had his cronies and people, like his darbar was going on in guest house. I said, sir, I cannot talk in front of these people. So he said, okay. He took me to his room. Both of us were standing. So before he said anything, I said, sir, I have come to make a request to you. So he said, he was very pleased that SP is making a request. He said, yes, please. I said, sir, I have come to make a request that you should not make any request for recruitment in the district. Then I said, sir, no son of Tata or Birla will ever appear for exam of constable. Only a poor person will appear. And if I take someone as constable because he has given me bribe, or because he belongs to my caste, or someone your caste or XYZ's caste, or because he is a voter, would he really do the public service? He will serve the caste, he will serve the money, he will serve the religion, so on and so forth, but he won't really serve people. And if we really want people to be honest, I think we should do clean recruitment. And I'll assure you that there won't be any complaint. So he looked at me, he smiled. He said, it's okay. But I also have one request. So I said, yes, sir. He said, please see that people will keep on coming to me regardless of who is SP, and they will keep on making requests to me. So I will have to send a request to you. So when these requests are received, please don't do anything. Just accept the requests. When people go, you tear off them and throw in dustbin. I don't mind. If you do this much, I'm okay with this. I said, so okay. I will not make any scenes. I'm telling you one more experience of recruitment, and this is because I think when you go in workplace, what is important is how do you manage your boss. And there are types and types of bosses. So there are Hindi movies. So there is one movie called like Hum Saath Saath Hai. So the kind of bosses who would take everyone along. And then there are bosses who say like Meri awaaz suno. So they won't let you talk. They would only talk. So I had a kind of boss who used to like me, but he was very insistent on doing things his way. So this was next year's recruitment. We had given advertisement, about 6,000 candidates were to appear for recruitment next day morning. And he called and he said, Sadanand, tomorrow afternoon I have kept lunch. He was in Nagpur, I was in Bhandara. So please join with your wife. We have kept send off for the current police commissioner of Mumbai was SP Wardha that time, Mr. Fansalkar. So he is going on a UN deputation. So please join for lunch. So I said, sir, you have approved my recruitment calendar and I have first day of recruitment tomorrow. And I don't think I can join for lunch. He said, where's the question of you thinking? I'm giving you orders, you come tomorrow. I said, sir, but I have recruitment. He said, cancel the recruitment. I said, sir, I mean, 6,000 people would come. How can I cancel? So this argument kept on for about 10 minutes. And his voice was getting more and more angrier. So at one point of time, he said, what will happen if you are transferred tonight? So I said, sir, then it is easy for me. I'll hand over charge and come for lunch tomorrow. He got very angry. He said, no one can argue with you. And he just kept on the phone. Next 5 days, I kept on thinking how angry he would be, but I just focused on recruitment. I completed recruitment on 6th day morning when like 5th day evening, we declared the results. And 6th day morning, I went to his home early in the morning without taking his permission. Mandara Varda was just 2 hours of drive. So I went with folded hand. I said, sir, I didn't mean to displease you, but he said, no. You are young, indisciplined brats. You don't understand how to respect seniors. I think in every line where you are ambitious and you have a sense of right and wrong, there would eventually be clashes. And all of us who feel strongly how to take stand and how to pay price for taking that stand. Unless we do that, we would be neither here nor there. I would tell one more incidence. And so this was a case in a district where we were running a great anti-Naxal operation. We had a fair good of sense. I mean, we were running an intelligence operation. So we picked up information that in a district in Madhya Pradesh, a Naxal training camp would be going on. So there was a joint team of 2 districts. We conducted operation. We killed 4 Naxalites and we caught 2 Naxalites alive. We kept them alive, and then through them, we carried out a huge campaign telling people that if you surrender with weapon of the moment, we will not kill you in encounters. There is no need for us. We will do cases. You have to face cases, but you would not be killed. So if those of you who have read Naxal literature know that Naxals recruit and retain their talents, quote unquote talents, in a typical mafia style. They would make people commit gruesome murders in midst of so many witnesses, and then people know that their way to normalcy is over. So with this, we had great successes. There were many surrenders, and this one particular surrender was Shivaji Tumreddy. So I got a phone call in the afternoon from a journalist. He said, "Sir, you are looking for Shivaji Tumreddy." So of course we were looking for him. He was, amongst others, he was involved in a blast case where 16 of our people had died. Nine policemen, seven civilians, Mangezari blast. So I said, yes, we are looking for him. He said, sir, will you take Shivaji Tumreddy's surrender? I said, yes, but he has AK-47 with him. So he said, yes, sir, he will surrender with AK-47. And his wife will also come, Shivaji, Sunita Tumreddy. So I said, but she also carries 303. They said, we will surrender both the weapons. I said, okay, if he surrenders with weapon, we will take his surrender. So 10 minutes from that phone call, a couple walked in my office. Now all of us have these photographs, like police has these photographs of wanted persons. And you look at the photographs that a person never looks like that. So when Shivaji Tumreddy came, I could not believe that he is Shivaji Tumreddy. Then he, of course, in interrogation told everything, how things happened and all that. So I looked for, I said, but you have to give us AK-47. So he said, sir, I have kept it in a dump. So he took us to the dump. We recovered the AK-47, 303, surrender ho gaya. I was very happy. He was the most dreaded Naxalite in my district. And I knew that with this surrender, now we would finish all. And in fact, in next 6 months, everyone from my district surrendered. And people stopped paying, fearing of Maoists, they stopped paying food, giving food to them. Anyway, coming back to this story. So in a very happy mood, I called my bosses. So first boss was happy. Second boss, who had served as DIG in that range and had seen that blast where 16 people had died. Now, when you see deaths, it leaves very strong imprint on your psyche. So he was a boss who had seen many blasts and many violent acts of Maoists. So when I told him that Shivaji Tumreddy has surrendered, he just thundered. He said, are you out of your mind? Why do you take his surrender? He should have died in encounter. So go do that now. I said, sir, I have taken his surrender. He can't be killed just like that in a fake encounter. I've given my word. So he was very unhappy with me. And I, of course, kept the phone down with dejection that ये तो अच्छा काम हो गया है, क्या हो गया. I was a young officer, hardly 5.5 years of service. To cut a very long story short, we had a good run of success with surrenders and Naxal operations. So from that district, all recruitment stopped. Next 5 years, no recruitment took place, etc., etc. I was very satisfied when I completed my tenure. On my transfer, this journalist who had called me telling about surrender of Shivaji Tumreddy said, sir, I want to come and meet you. I said, please do come. He was district correspondent, also a professor, district correspondent of a most circulated newspaper in Maharashtra. Even today, that newspaper claims to be most circulated. He said, sir, you remember the phone call about Shivaji Tumreddy? I said, yes. He said, do you know, sir, that we had taken videographed statement of Shivaji Tumreddy, including the call that we made with you? We thought that you will kill him in encounter, and that would be a scoop for me. Shiver went down my spine. I said, my God, I mean, I would not have been in front of you. I would have been in Nagpur Central Prison even today for a fake encounter. What I want to convey is a time would come when, as a professional who is sure of his values and his skills, will have to take a stand against an authority. And whether you are able to take that stand or not will really define your next trajectory. Sure, there would be price to pay, but I can tell you that that price is nothing in front of the sense of confidence and sense of authenticity that you will carry with those difficult decisions. I would stop my experience sharing with this last example. Especially when you go in leadership positions, you get to do a lot of things which are not necessarily professional or, in your case, technical in nature. The man management or human connect probably is very important. One of the leadership theorists has said that there are three components of leadership. So leader has to have technical skills, leader has to have conceptual skills, and leader has to have human relation skills. And he said that it is human relation skills which remains of equal importance whether the job is of low or high order of leadership. The conceptual skills, the skills to abstract thinking, having roadmap, knowing where to take the organization, or conceptual skills would go on increasing and technical skills would go on decreasing in the importance as leadership journey takes one to pinnacle. But human relations are most important. So in police, there is a good tradition of carrying out police welfare projects. And with my experience of indiscipline in police and problem of drunkardness, when I went to a district, I knew that this is one problem which I have to address. And I did. There were about 1,800 constables and officers. So I gave my sheet clerk. This was all manual. There was this is 1996. I told that please tell me who are the people who have taken more than 3 months of sick leave in last 2 years. Also tell me who are the constables whose punishments are more than rewards. Also tell me the constables who have noted or documented behavior of drunkenness. So with this triple test, we got a list of about 60 constables. Then I asked through intelligence and SHOs. I was told that 52 of them were habitual alcoholics. By this time, I had made friends with Dr. Abhay Bang. He is doing great work in Gadchiroli for many decades now, but he also used to run a de-addiction camp. So I thought I should run a de-addiction camp. So I took a meeting of all these 52 people, and we ran three de-addiction camps, etc., etc. So after our first camp was over, after about 2 or 3 months time, I had gone to Gondia for conducting inspection. The inspection was going on for quite some time. So late night, 10 o'clock in the night, I was sitting with Chobe was inspector. I was going through records. The constable came saying, sir, like, lady aapko milna chahti hai. I was surprised. Why should a lady meet me at 10 o'clock in the night? So this lady wearing 9 yard sari, looking very happy, came inside, and she wanted to touch my feet, and she was all happiness on her face writ large. So I made her sit. I said, please tell me. So the dialogue took place in Marathi. I'll try to translate it. Probably Hindi is. She said, साहब आपने वो मेरा हस्बैंड को पकड़ के लेके गए थे पुलिस स्टेशन में, तो उसके बाद वो अच्छा बन गया. So her story was that from first day of my marriage, my husband has been total drunkard. He has been beating me and he has been misbehaving with me even in front of my children. Now my children are quite grown up, and he would spend all his money, and we were in very bad times. And then one day you sent a vehicle and you took him away. That's what she said. "Pakadun घेऊन गेले." And you had put him in for this is 21-day standard de-addiction program. So you had put him in this de-addiction program, and he has transformed after that. He said he now, whenever his work is over, he comes back home and he takes me to temple, and oftentimes he brings me gajra, and most of his salary comes home now, and we are very happy. I was told that it was you who have done it, so I just wanted to thank you. We are very happy now. I think when we want to do something which is beyond our call of duty, I have got many medals. Some of them were mentioned. But these words of praise are the real medals that I think people don't see, but one carries them on his chest, which allows one to feel that yes, one has done something useful for society. I think the leadership position, if at all it is to be attained, it's to be attained for doing something good. And whatever walk you choose, it will, if challenges come your way, it means you are succeeding. And if you fail, it's okay. You can succeed next time. So I think if one keeps this in mind and one sees that his success, if it is shared with his family, his society, and his nation, then that success is real enduring. They say that सिकंदर भी खाली हाथ आया था खाली हाथ गया है. Whatever you achieve in this world, you don't take it with you. But if the legacy that you leave is happy legacy where people fondly remember you, I think that is something which every leader should look forward to. I'm once again very thankful to IIT Madras for giving me this opportunity, and I wish you all the very best in your career, because if you succeed, I'm very sure my nation will succeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing these invaluable insights. Your experiences offer us a deeper understanding of leadership, courage, and the evolving landscape of law enforcement. I now invite our moderators, Tanish and Janvi, to join our speaker on the stage for the fireside chat.
Hello. Yeah. So first of all, it was a great privilege to hear the experiences from the man himself. So now, after the first segment, we'll move on to the next segment, which is fireside chat. So starting on with the questions. As Director General of NIA, you've had an illustrious career in law enforcement. But what inspired you to choose this path, and how did your journey exactly begin?
So, as I said, of course, Union Public Service Commission offers you a big canvas, as I said, and you go, you occupy good offices, and some of us have this attraction of, that beacon light on your car. When you go and sit in the car which has beacon light, you realize that you don't see that, right? And even ambulance has a beacon light. So much of the I never really was enamored by the so-called status, but I think I was told that if you are government servant or a public servant, you can do what you think is right, and there is enough job security. No one can really touch you. Of course, they can transfer you, and that one learns. Like my first transfer took place on third day. Second transfer after 11 months. Third place I was not allowed to join. Fourth place I was transferred in 5.5 months. Next after 6 months, and then I told you the story when I thought that this one more transfer is on cards. But I can tell you that I began. In fact, there was this small incident. I'm a commerce student, so I used to help chartered accountant, and I realized that in audit, when you find significant diversions, not necessarily those are reported, because the auditor also has to get next year's audit. And Mr. Karnawat was our accounting professor, so he said that if you are a chartered accountant and if you refuse to do certain stock adjustments, I mean, they would give you 3 months salary and say that you please leave. We'll find out another chartered accountant who will do the job. So, but in government, they will at the most transfer you, and that I think remains true. One important thing that I see when I look back in my policing career is you come across so many people. I, as SP or as police commissioner or as additional commissioner, DCP, I used to meet at least 20, 25 people. And your one phone call makes difference in life of those people. I think I really thought, and I continue to think, that you can make a real change in life of people if you choose this path. And that was the motive.
That's inspiring. I'm sure this will be a valuable lesson for all of us, and many of us will come up with such a great such great aspirations. So, moving on to our next question. Considering your profession, you must have come across many unexpected challenges. So, how do you deal with such stressful situations while maintaining the same efficiency?
Okay, so I mean, I'm not a doctor, so how to handle stress is this is my personal experience. But my experience has been this, that stress comes essentially from two different things. One is sheer exhaustion that comes because you are working day in and day out without holiday for a very long time. And this happened when I was DCP in Mumbai. Year was 1999. My daily schedule was I would start home from home at 9, and on an average I would reach back home at 10 in the night. And invariably on Saturdays and Sundays there would be bandobast. So till that posting, I was very regular in my running and fitness regime. But at 1 year, probably I neglected, and after completion of 1 year, one night I came home and I just collapsed in bathroom. And then next day, doctor said that you are hypertensive, so you have to either, like, your weight has increased, you have to reduce weight, you have to do meditation, so on and so forth. You or you have to start medication. So I said, no, I don't want to start medication. So I improved on my physical fitness and things went off well. After about 7 8 years, I was additional CP EOW, and again I had stress. So first is when there was a lot of exhaustion, but this was a different kind of stress. I was physically fit. But what was happening in EOW was, on a weekly basis, I was going to ministers, police commissioner, DG, and they were making requests that इस केस में ऐसा करो, उस केस में ऐसा करो. I was saying नहीं ये नहीं कर सकते, वो नहीं कर सकते. When I went there, the system was that if a call comes, I would the officer would ask IO, investigating officer, that you please go to the minister and do what he says. So we introduced a written manual. I said, not even my oral orders are to be accepted. You have to go by a rule. And if I have to go, if minister calls, I will go to the minister. And then I ended up on a weekly basis displeasing my bosses. And probably that was creating stress, because my police commissioner will write my APAR, my minister will consider my track record for my postings, and I was of course ambitious. If I were not ambitious, why would I have joined IPS? And I was seeing that people who would decide my future are the ones whom I am regularly displeasing. And this is like end of the road situation. And again, after about 11 months, I had doctor said that you have blood pressure. Now I'm at least agnostic, if not atheist. So I could not pray. I was physically fit. How do I deal with this stress? One of my bosses was telling me ever since we worked together in CBI that you please go and do Vipassana. So I said, sir, I don't believe in Punarjanma. And for Buddhist philosophy, concept of Punarjanma is essential. He said, no, but why don't you go and do what Buddha says as a hypothesis? If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So now I was in a situation where either I have to start medication or I have to do meditation. So I went for meditation. And I realized what the stress was all about. The stress was conflict between my values. I wanted to be honest and transparent, and my ambition. So on third day, I realized what I was trying to do. One good thing is, as IPS officer, one has to do horse riding compulsory. There's a one course. So one realizes, one does horse riding, and then I realized that I was like trying to ride both horses together. I wanted to realize my ambition, but I did not want to compromise with my values. And the stress was coming because of not realizing that both of them are not going to be, I mean, you have to decide what is of primary importance. And that realization was that, okay, I have to choose my horse. The second horse may or may not come. I cannot complain. No one has forced this choice on me. I think the stress comes because of two things. One, our internal conflict, and two, demand that worlds make on us. If we are smart enough, we can handle the work volume challenge. But we have to be wise enough to handle the internal conflict, to know what we really want and pursue that, and then accept the price that one has to pay in the rest of the areas.
I think that is an all-round approach. It was like very, could be very helpful for us. That was very helpful. So I think, and stress management is something which all of us must master. Talking about stress, 2611 was one incident which you know which sent shockwaves of tension across the nation. So, and you were there on ground during that moment. So, if you could just in brief share your share how it was on ground and how what exactly was your experience.
Okay, so wherever I go, I have to tell 2611 story, and I have shared my detailed interview with Tanish. But I would recall the story that Mr. Jog had told, that when challenge comes in front, don't complain, don't ask why me, do your job. So when 2611 happened, actually, one must be honest, we were not prepared. We were not prepared because civil police was not supposed to handle AK-47s and RDX in cities. We were trained to move with lathis and do law and order, crime, so on and so forth. On 2611, I have had colleagues dying in, like, मेरे हाथ में एक आदमी ने मरते हुए मैंने देखा है. One has suffered injuries. One has seen bravery of policemen. ASI Umbre actually faced Kasab with lathi. And if he had not helped catch Kasab alive, we would never have understood how 2611 has happened. To cut a very long story short, I'll tell my personal experience. I will share this interview. But when I went with the post of 7 policemen at Kama Hospital, I was told that something bad is happening on 4th floor. There were 2 dead bodies at the entrance of the hospital, and these people have automatic weapons. So we decided to go on 5th floor because height is always advantage in tactical situation, and come down to 4th. As I was entering, one person came running. He said, "Sir, they are not on 4th floor, they are now on top floor." Just before entering the lift, I had briefed all of them. I had told that I am having bulletproof jacket, so I will walk in front. पर मेरे को पीछे से गोली नहीं मारना. Keep observing the situation, and unless you see someone with weapons, you will not open fire, or unless I give orders. When we came out of lift, the lift could go only up to 6th floor, and the terrace was the 7th level. So I had kept one of the constables at the entrance of the lift on the ground floor, and then 6 of us went up. I was about to walk in. The door was half ajar, but I don't know what happened. I thought that it's not good to walk in a place which I don't know what is there. So I asked my colleagues, do they have change? I wanted to throw a coin just to test if there is anyone there. So no one had change. So I took the whole party back to 6th floor, and there the electric cable repair shop work was going on. So those metal clamps were lying. So we took couple of clamps. Again we went up 3 or 4 steps before the door. I threw the clamps, and as soon as I threw the clamps, there was a burst of AK-47 on us. This came subsequently in Kasab's interrogation, that Kasab was standing guard on the door, and his Abu Ismail had taken hostages of doctors, nurses, and patients in one corner of the terrace. And he thought that I have thrown a grenade at him. Therefore, he fired with AK-47. Anyway, we got to know that now the terrorists are here. I got to know that there is no other exit to this terrace. So if we block this till we get reinforcement, we can capture these people. That was the plan. After about 2-3 minutes, one person came with his hands up position. So I stopped him. We were on the 6th floor. I stopped him. He was midway the staircase. So he waved and tried to show that there is someone behind him. So what later on came in investigation. So both of them, Abu Ismail and Kasab, were crouching. So they were not visible to us. They were below the side guardrails of the staircase, and this person was in front. So I fired one shot on his above his head. That like disturbed the calculation. So these two people went up, and this man came running back to us. So he was a hospital watchman. We were interrogating him as to who are all there. So he told that they have taken hostages, they have got weapons, they are talking uh, Hindi or Urdu, and so on and so forth. And there is no exit from that terrace. As we were interrogating him, I still remember like a small green ball. It got ricocheted, it got bounced off the lift, and it exploded. So I still remember the explosion. And the moment I saw the explosion, I realized that this is not gang war. Till that point of time, we thought this is a gang war. So I radioed back to the control room that these people are with grenades and AK-47, and this is definitely not gang war. And we have held them. In that first grenade, one sub inspector died. Almost all of us got injured. I also have, I call it Nishane Pakistan. So I have couple of grenade particles in my eye. They are embedded to optic nerve, so they cannot be removed. But so I got momentary dizziness. But then I remembered in 1992 in National Police Academy, I was told that when you are fired upon, you have to fire back. If you don't fire back, then the enemy advances. So literally step by step, I was recollecting what was told to me. We were told that your ammunition is your lifeline, so you have to conserve ammunition. Uh, this firefight went on for about 50 minutes. The colleagues who could not fight back, I had sent them back, so I was firing back. This fifth grenade actually blew just next to my left feet, and that was the most painful injury that I had. I had dizziness for maybe a minute or so, and I had not fired back after that. So when I came out of that dizziness and I came out of my goli ka aad, I saw two people crossing the landing between sixth and fifth floor. They were the two terrorists. I had a revolver with me with 2 rounds. If on 26/11 I have done illogical act, it was this. I just could not control myself. I took out the revolver and I fired 2 rounds, and then I realized that these people are having AK-47. If they come back, then I am finished. Again, this came on interrogation. They thought that a large post of policemen is there on sixth floor, so they wanted to get out. And this came to me much later in trial when I went through the post-mortem report. So Abu Ismail's torso had one bullet. So I always had this question: "Mera bullet gaya kahan pe?" So one of them had landed in torso of Abu Ismail. That was some consolation. But of course, they did not stop. They went back. So this firefight took for 50 minutes. What I want to tell is this: I'm a very organized person. I used to have plan A, B, C, D, no end of contingency planning. And I asked myself a question: what happened in those 50 minutes? So, to be honest, I never had doubt in my mind as to what I should have done. I was in uniform with firearms. There were people, young, it was a maternity hospital. So, children, ladies, doctor, nurses, officer in uniform has to fight back. So I never had this doubt. But I think one of the great things was the fear of death did not touch my mind all along. Just once, when this firefight was going on, I just thought of my kids, what will happen to them. And I told that my wife is also a professional, so she'll take care. My job is now to ensure that these people don't get out of this place. Uh, Mumbai police lost 17 people on that day. I'm very fortunate. I have seen bravery of Mumbai police, the raw courage that we brought. I'm deeply aware about the shortcomings we had. We did not anticipate. We were, of course, not meant for that kind of attack. But post that, we have tried to prepare ourselves. So I think that on the whole, it was a painful but event which has really strengthened me. And the bottom line for me is my risk taking capacity has increased multifolds. I always used to think, अब तो उसकी तैयारी नहीं की थी फिर भी ठीक ही हो गया. So one should have faith, and I don't do now beyond. I mean, if there is a plan, then plan A and plan B. I don't go to plan C, because then your instincts are good enough to address the challenge.
Indeed, 2611. Indeed, 2611 is a pivotal moment in Indian internal security landscape. But in this kind of stressful situation, maintaining balance between the order of higher authorities and a public cooperation is important. So, how do you achieve this balance during high pressure situations while minimizing the disruption?
So one part of it is I have told about stress management, and I think once that internal thing was clear, that I'm choosing what is important to me, and my job will remain safe. I may not get some good postings, maybe I will get inconsequential postings at times, but it's fine. I would continue to get good jobs. So that is one part of it. The other part of it is very important. What you have told is, how do we deal with people? And I think we get opportunity as police officers to interact with people in visit hours, when we do law and order planning meetings, when we respond to crimes, when we go and meet mullah committees, and so on and so forth. If we interact with them from point of view of understanding their grievances, not all grievances can be solved, but making sincere attempt, then what happens is we gain a lot of public trust. We also create public goodwill. And when press knows who you are, when public knows who you are, I think taking a stand becomes easy, and carrying it along also becomes easy.
We citizens owe immense gratitude to our law enforcement agencies who sacrifice a lot to ensure our security and safety every day. So now we'll move on to the last question of our fireside chat. And I'm sure this question, most of us would relate with this. So the pursuit of ambition often comes at a cost. How does one manage to maintain a balance between the current responsibilities and what you aim to achieve in the future?
So I think, one will always have this question whether one has managed this balance well or not. And having this question in mind, I can answer this. Have I really balanced this? So one loses many things. If one likes reading, then one knows that one doesn't have enough time to read books. If one likes, and of course all of us like our family and friends, one doesn't have time for them as much as one would like to give. But if one is sure of what he is doing and gaining the pleasure from work and the challenges, I think that gives one a lot of satisfaction. And one also gets satisfaction from handling challenging situations as they come. For example, I'll just mention this. We don't have time for this. But when Mr. Thackeray's funeral took place, he was not well, and all of us knew that it would be a giant event, big event. We would have record break crowds, and there would also be threats. So I was additional commissioner, and this was year 2009. Mr. Thackeray was not well, and we had prepared a contingency plan for his funeral. And he got well, and I was so happy that I don't have to do this bandobast. So I handed over the plan to the successor. Then I went to Force 1 and I got promoted, and I went at Joint CP Law and Order. And this was 2012, 31st August. And Mr. Thackeray was again not well. And Mr. Seth, after briefing me, handed over a file to me. I immediately recollected the file. It was my file which I had prepared contingency plan. So I said, sir, but ye to additional commissioner ki file hai. He said, your promotion has taken place and file has also got promoted. So it is now joint commissioner's task to do this bandobast. But we did good arrangements. And I had somewhere seen these Mozo barricades. You are students of technology. In all events where crowds gather, barricades would eventually give up if there is too much of pressure. But someone told me, sir, this Mozo barricades, so this is a vertical, like any barricade, and then there are horizontal trusses along that, and the longer one is on the side where public is there. And what eventually will happen is anyone who is approaching will stand on the extended part of the barricade, and that standing itself will give weight to the barricade, and then barricade doesn't fall down, and then barricades are joined. So police as such doesn't have budgets, and we wanted Mozo barricades for Mr. Thackeray's funeral. If the YouTubes are there, you can just see the funeral sign. We had protected the D and all that. We had brought the Mozo barricades. So when Mozo barricades were to be procured, Mr. Thackeray was still alive, and but he was not well, and we had to prepare. So I remember telling my officers that please go and do market survey as to who all have Mozo barricades in Maharashtra. So we did that. We got some 1,000 barricades. I said, let us contact all of them and tell that when I ask for that, you have to supply me. I will ensure as my personal guarantee I will pay. I don't know whether I'll pay from, but you have to give Mozo barricades to me. So we planned for all those things and the bandobast went off well. But I'll tell this small incident and then I'll stop. This bandobast was otherwise very fabulous. The moment his death was announced, Shiv Sainiks got very emotional, and for me it was important to ensure that the city is orderly and safe. So I had gone there. I did some lathi charge at Kherwadi Junction, and journalists were of course there covering for the story, and they were there for previous 2 months. He passed. The news of his death, if I remember correctly, was declared on 17th of November. 18th was his funeral. Previous 31st August से वो उसकी न्यूज़ कवर कर रहे थे. So Shiv Sainik got very violent and said that you are moving like vultures around our leaders and you must be taught a lesson. So they started attacking the journalists. So local policemen there somehow separated journalists, all of them, those who know Mumbai topography, took them to Mada building. There's a big building with good compound. So those journalists delegation started calling me, said, sir, we want to do this reporting and you have to give protection to us. Ultimately, about 5 lakh people participated in that funeral procession. And we had to protect these 140 OB vans and journalists and all that. So, this was a challenge, how to protect them. And then an idea came to my mind. So I took a meeting with their delegation and I said that we'll protect you, but I have a request to make. They said, give me the request. So I said, on your OB vans, I will give you posters and these big posters had already come doing Shraddhanjali to Baba Saheb. So we just collected from the streets the posters. I said, please display these on your OB vans on sides. And I was very sure that if a OB van is carrying Mr. Thackeray's poster and saying respect to him, nobody will attack those. Virtually, we could not have given protection to the journalists in the crowd of 5 lakh people. So one of the good things is, of course, technology is there. Of course, people are helpful to police, but you also need innovative solutions. And if you get those and if you carry the day, then you feel good about it at the end of the day, I think.
That was really insightful. Actually, striking a balance between ambition and responsibility is not an easy feat. Your thoughts provide valuable lessons for all of us. With this, we'll conclude our fireside chat. And thank you, sir, for this profound discussion. Now, we'll move for audience interaction. So, stage is open for your questions.
Due to time constraints, we'll be taking only 2 audience questions.
In the 26/11 attack, you said like you almost made the ultimate sacrifice. So in the following days, how was your outlook on life? Did it change in any way?
It's a good question. On third day from 26/11, I took my children. My children were, my son was 7 years old, 6 years old, between 6 and 7, and my daughter was 14 years old. And Kama Hospital, sixth floor was like a war zone. Multiple grenades, at least few hundred rounds. So there were pockmarks on all the walls. I took my children and I told them that I don't think like I'm a hero or I'm very brave officer or I'm very courageous officer. And I certainly did not do all this to show my bravery. I had simply this question in mind that I'm a police officer with uniform. Here are people in need. And what is my duty? My duty is to do everything that is possible to protect them. And I'm grateful that fear did not touch my heart. Because if fear had touched my heart, I would have got frozen. If any other thought had come to my mind, I would have got. I mean, it was very easy. It was not even my jurisdiction. I did not have gone there. If you read stories of, you know, so called bravery, because subsequently the acts are called brave acts, no one does it for sake of bravery. You will find beneath those either devotion for duty or extreme love for a person or extreme sense of patriotism. So in course of that dedication, what happens is bravery. I think I feel that it's a second life. And as I said, I have become much better professional because my risk taking capacity. I used to be very very cautious, and I mean, I still am, because your nature doesn't really completely change. But being too much cautious is not resource efficient, right? Then you are always thinking of defensive behavior. So I think that's how I look at 26/11. It was a extremely painful event, but something which I think has made me a better person.
Hi, sir. Sir, so like so like if it was really inspiring to hear your 2611 story and like your act in the Kama hospital. So I also have a question that in India things aren't equal everywhere. So this 2611 event happened in city like Mumbai. So where like there are lots of things in place. But so if we consider that an attack like hey 2611 happens in some place like a tier 2 or a tier 3 place, so are there any systems in place to handle such event, like as you have worked in the eastern Maharashtra? So if some attack happens at Akola, Amravati and places like that.
So I think it's a great question. Let us also understand what was the motive behind 26/11 for Pakistan. It is established that it was a Pak conspiracy. They wanted to attack India's growth story. They wanted deliberately to attack places which are known for example, transportation hub, five-star hotels, Jewish prayer places, a restaurant which is frequented by foreigners, so on and so forth. So if it is enemy like that, targets selected by them would always be high value targets. But your question was what happens if it takes place in tier 2 or tier 3 city, or what happens if it happens again? uh, I think there are two or three parts of making a strategy against this. Number one is mentally you have to be ready that this can happen, and ask what resources you can bring to the table. So on 26/11, what was important was the logistics. So how fast you can move forces, how fast you can give counter terror response. That is post, but there's a lot of work that can be done to prevent it. So intelligence collection, for example, one of the big changes that has happened in policing after 26/11 is in Maharashtra, and now it is a national policy. Recently, it has been approved by MHA. In every police station, we have a dedicated resource in terms of constables and in big cities, officers who continuously think about targets that can be selected by terrorists. What kind of target hardening can be done? what kind of activities can be done to educate people to make the attack more difficult, to make the Reiki more difficult, so on and so forth. Then the response. For example, we created Force One, we created QRTs. At national level, we have created now 4 NSG hubs are there in different parts of the country so that response is fast. We have created NIA, which does exclusive investigations. 26/11/2008 attack took place. Since 1947 till 2008, the country did not have a federal investigating agency. On 31st December 2008, Parliament passed a NIA Act, and NIA started from 28th January 2009. So we created a federal agency which does investigation. We created NatGrid, which is a database which connects dots. For example, if you read 9/11 report, the fragments of information were there in silos, but the comprehensive assessment could not be done. Therefore, the persons who were taking aviation training could be doing it for some malicious intent was not read by the system. So database, NatGrid is our database solution to the problem. So on preventive side, on target hardening side, and on response side, a lot of measures are taken. But I think the real lesson to be learned from 26/11 is this: that if you want to remain free and pursue your own agenda, then you have to maintain very high level of alertness all the time, each second, every minute. And that is possible only when you create systems for that. And I think that is where both systems and technology would place a great part. I would stop at one technology and then I will stop this answer: CCTVs. Now, one of the things that any malicious actor wants to do is he wants to be doing it without getting caught. But the way CCTV technology is proliferating, I think the audit trail of all the movements are now possible. So gaining anonymity is not that easy, which is again, it adds to your preventive factor. There are multiple things, and one has to keep reiterating the doing those things, finding out what are the new challenges, ensuring that one doesn't go back or fail on anticipation again. There are multiple things that can be done, and I'm sure the increasing now the threat perception has changed. So now the cyber vulnerabilities, for example, because the systems are so driven by IT and interconnected, if systems can be hijacked and taken over or brought to standstill, and therefore your systems have to be more robust. So I think the threat profile is also changing. Touch wood. Since 26, I mean, if you see, since 2013, we have been able to prevent most of the attacks, and we have to keep doing that by remaining vigilant. I think that's the only answer.
Thank you, sir. That was indeed a very engaging chat. I now request our Dean of Students, Professor Gumadi, Vice Chairman, Council of Wardens, Professor Sanyasi Raju, our Student General Secretary, Mr. Atul Kumar Pandey, Student Heads of EML, Ms. Bhargavi Jadhav, and Mr. Priyavat Tiwari, to present Mr. Sadanand Date with the memento. We request our guest to leave his message for the IITM community in the EML yearbook. I request everyone to scan this QR code and fill the feedback form. It'll just take a few minutes. Thank you. I kindly request everyone to take a moment of your time to fill the feedback form. It wouldn't take much time. Thank you. With this, we come to the end of the lecture. We thank each and every one of you for joining us today. Thank you all. I request the EML team members to join the guest on stage for a group photo.